Y'all, I'm a divorced single couples therapist, and I thought I would walk you through my dating journey after divorce. Phase 1, absolutely terrified and unable to accept a compliment. We were just struggling. Phase 2, realize I don't even know what my type is. Now we get excited. Phase 3, PDHP. If you don't know what this means, it stands for post-divorce hoe phase, and it is a requirement developmentally, and it's awesome.
When I am with individual clients and they have gone through a recent divorce and they start dating, I often will ask them, when they start dating somebody who's also recently divorced, I ask them if they have a full understanding of what went wrong for them in the relationship. And if they cannot answer what their contribution was, and their answer is, my ex is crazy, or my ex is a narcissist, or whatever, then they have not done the work that's needed. So that's a red flag.
Shut up, shut up, shut up, shut up, shut up.
Gentlemen, do you have problems in your marriage? Are you thinking what will happen with you after divorce? Are you finding it hard to navigate all these issues? Well, fear no more, gentlemen, because divorce coaches are here to explain to all of us why things are the way they are. Now, divorce coaches, for me personally, more of just like divorced women who just been pumped and dumped and manipulated many times, and they think that that somehow gives them wisdom, you know, and experience. That they don't have a certificate, right? They're not doctors, they're not psychologists, they are just women who've had multiple bad experiences, and that somehow makes them think that they are this really intelligent and wise person who can give you advice. If you ask me, don't take advice about dating and marriage and kids and whatever not for a person who doesn't have kids, doesn't have a marriage, cannot keep a man, and has a history of failures. But what do I know, guys? Now, before we get to the dating coaches, let's watch this short interview.
Do you feel like you're competing with younger women?
Sometimes. Not that I feel like I am competing, but I definitely feel like it's hard for people my age or older to be single.
But I mean, you're a beautiful woman. Couldn't you still go out and get it from anybody at any point in time?
I don't feel like I can. I don't.
I like how this guy says, can't you get a relationship from anybody at any point, any time? Yes, she can. Absolutely, women have options all the time. You know where the problem lies, gentlemen? That she cannot keep them. She can get relationships, but she cannot keep them. Why? Because she already had one relationship that she decided to get a divorce. She decided to leave her man behind. She already had that chance, right? And if you fail one time, you're probably gonna fail 2 times and 3 times and 4 times. You can check the statistics. The more times you divorce, the higher the probability of getting yet another divorce. But now, gentlemen, let's go to our dating coaches, because the wisdom in this video is incredible. Take a paper and a pen and write down these tips, gentlemen. They will get you far in life.
Y'all, I'm a divorced single couples therapist, and I thought I would walk you through my dating journey after divorce. Phase 1, absolutely terrified and unable to accept a compliment. We were just struggling. Phase 2, realize I don't even know what my type is. Now we get excited. Phase 3, PDHP. If you don't know what this means, it stands for post-divorce hoe phase, and it is a requirement developmentally, and it's awesome. Phase 4.
You know, guys, sometimes this wild idea crosses my mind. I think, you know what, let me give this divorce coach a chance. Maybe, just maybe there is a divorce coach out there that is genuinely trying to help people and is, you know, naively thinking that she can help someone and, you know, say something right. But then they always prove me wrong. All of them suck, all of them without exception. They're all bad, they're all extremely dumb. And again, their advice, this woman, guys, is not a doctor, right? She doesn't have any certificate. She just got divorced. then got pumped and dumped by 200 men, and now she's here giving advice. Like, literally the worst person to give advice. I'd rather have advice from a street worker than this woman, right? Terrible, terrible decisions. And of course, if a YouTube lord sees my content, he'll probably ban my whole channel. But she herself mentioned that she went through a 304 phase. She herself proclaimed herself to be a 304. So I don't see a problem with me stating it. I'm just approving what she already mentioned, that she is a 304 that belongs to the streets and should never get any commitment. If you ask me, these women don't even deserve the 304 phase, right? They don't even deserve S3X. If you ask me, they should be banished from society to live in eternal guilt until they pass away alone. But hey, if chads want to have their fun with these dating ruins, at least they're contributing something to society, right? It's like a free 304. You don't even have to pay if you're chad. So hey, at least you're doing something for the community.
Act like I'm taking a break so a man naturally comes right out of the woodwork. Fall in love because he is the personified opposite of my ex. Phase 6, realize I need a little bit more than that.
Guys, you know why women will often, after divorce or after a good relationship, serious relationship, will date many bad boys, one after the other? Because they want the opposite from their ex. And it just turns out, most of the times, their ex was a stable person, a guy who wanted a future, a guy who set boundaries, and a guy who respected himself, right? And they don't like to be in that relationship because, you know, they're not stable, they are insecure. It makes them insecure that their partner knows what he wants. A lot of the time, gentlemen, I tell you, men who know their worth, even though I hate to use that term, but men who know what they stand for, they intimidate these women. Man, I feel like I'm talking like a 40-year-old woman, but they literally intimidate these women because these women know that they are insecure and that they are toxic. And they literally fear that if the guy finds out, or if the guy, you know, at some point respects himself enough, he will just leave them, right? They feel like they are way worse in the relationship. They know that they are not contributing. They know that the guy could find something absolutely better, and that makes them insecure. I've seen this so many times. Leave me a comment if you agree or if you've seen this. So this is why they will divorce a guy who loves them, who is there for them, who could have been always there for them, you know, a back pillar that is always there. But they leave that relationship and they literally go to the men who will never even care to remember their name. And that's why. Now let's continue.
Dive back in full force to the dating apps. This was the year I went on 30 dates. None of which were fruitful.
No, really? Oh, I'm shocked.
Pit of despair, naturally. Phase 9 is delusion because you've been in the pit of despair for so long that the first person who's kind of fine ends up being perceived as your Prince Charming.
You ask me, you never left the step of delusion. You were always in it.
Delusionally. We are back in the pit of despair. Phase 11 is we're just going to stop caring. We're just going to stop caring because we put in so much effort at this point. We're exhausted.
Wait, what? Where exactly did you put the effort? Was it when you were crying yourself to sleep every night? When you were dating 7 bad boys at a time? When you decided to get divorced because of the spark not being there? Where exactly was the effort? What are you exhausted from? From getting your cheeks clapped by multiple men? I don't think that's exhausting for you. Like, can someone pinpoint where exactly this woman put effort into something? Seems to me is the point, guys.
So we're going to stop caring. Phase 12 is coming to the realization there actually might not be anyone out there who meets your expectations, which is followed by another pit of despair, naturally, followed by phase 14, which is feminist rage. To give you some timeline context, this happened to coincide perfectly with the Barbie movie. And last but not least, we have acceptance. And that's truly, I think, where I am now. Would I like a life partner? Yes. That sounds lovely. Do I think about it every day? Yeah, but not every hour, and it doesn't consume all my thoughts like it used to.
Man, this is sad. This is just sad. But I don't care, right? It's sad maybe for someone else, but I feel absolutely no sympathy because, you know, you used to have that man, but he didn't quote unquote meet your expectations. And now you're a rageful, bitter, third wave feminist in her 30s, not fertile anymore, not attractive anymore, carrying a huge load of baggage, you know, being the town bicycle, and just no pair bonding ability, just all the wrong things, gentlemen, all the wrong things, all the red flags. You self-mentioned that you don't even care anymore. So, I don't know, if someone wants to be in a relationship, he has to pay the price of you not being committed in that relationship and not caring about that relationship. Why? Because you got exhausted with the chads. Who in the seven hells would consider dating such a woman? Who is it? Some simp, probably, I don't know. But these women, guys, they ask the question, why are we single? And any person with more than 2 brain cells can figure this out in less than a second.
I think phase 16 is going to be really just funneling all of that energy into really detailed art projects. First thing coming to mind is probably going to be creating a whimsical, adorable toad habitat in my backyard. Painted rocks, moss, the whole 9 yards. And life is good.
Okay.
Yeah, nothing speaks life is good more than a woman crying for 3 minutes. You know what stage 16 is? Go knock yourself out. That is stage 16, and you are more than welcome to follow it. Guys, these women, man, you know, I am a strong believer that once you get married, that's it. You're not supposed to leave that marriage. You can separate if you truly disagree on everything with the other person, if you really don't get along, if everything, you know, feels bad. You can separate, but never divorce and never look for someone else. If people, you know, someone may say, but how will I know if the other person is correct for me? Well, that's on you. You have to know, right? Obviously, don't marry the person who is your absolute opposite in terms of political beliefs or, you know, ways of viewing the world, because at that point you're just dumb, right? If you're a conservative man and you go for the woman who is absolutely liberal and is in favor of all the things that liberalism is pushing right now, will you be shocked that it doesn't work out, right? It's on you to get to know that person, have your time with him, you know, and once you marry, that's it. The best case scenario after that is separation. There is no divorce, no, you know, splitting things, getting things off the man, making him pay alimony, stealing his children away, etc. But now, guys, you can't really expect this from women, right? I mean, that's the thing. I will never say that I'm against marriage, because I think it's one of the last tools that we can use in our advantage if we pick the right woman to fight back against this insanity going nowadays, you know. But the problem is, even though there are traditional women and good women left, you just never know. Any woman could pull the rug under you, right? Any woman could do this. So it's always a risk that you have to premeditate and, you know, gamble a little bit. But now, enough rant, let's continue with the other divorce coach. I just can't wait to see what advice she will give.
And life is good.
Okay, so in all fairness, have you asked men?
Alright, there's a lot of text right here, but one person says, I've asked this question to literally hundreds of women who divorced their husbands and still have yet to get one response. Another one says, no, it's the same one. The only response I get is, I chose a terrible husband. Zero accountability every time. And this guy is absolutely right. Just like the woman we saw on the previous TikTok, have you noticed she didn't mention what was the problem with her ex-husband? She just said, he didn't meet my expectations. Or in other words, I chose a terrible husband. Or in other words, it's all on him and nothing on me. Or in other words, there was absolutely no valid reason for me getting a divorce other than I want the grass to be greener because I am a stupid individual who cannot follow on commitment and who disobeys his own vows. But now let's continue.
This same question, because I would venture to say the answer is probably very similar and a variation of that.
Absolutely not. Right, you just said, if you missed it, ask men the same question, they will tell you something alike. No. If you ask men, you know, why did you separate, why the relationship broke apart, he'll probably tell you a lot of reasons, you know, why he did something wrong. Just answer me this, gentlemen. How many times have you heard men say the words, I didn't pay enough attention to her? Right? How many times have you heard that? How many times? You know, a divorce happens, some guy loses his girlfriend cheats, and we hear those same men say the words, I didn't pay enough attention to her, I was too invested in my job, or whatever. Now answer me this next question. How many times have you heard a woman say, the relationship broke apart because I did X? Anything, just anything. How many times have you heard women, you know, have some resemblance of accountability and cite even one reason as to why the relationship could have broken apart? You know, I've heard men more times say that they didn't pay enough attention to her than I've heard women in general just take any accountability at all. So this divorce coach, already, you lost me already at your first point, damn it. Let's continue.
Meaning, yes, most people are fixated on what their partner's deal is or what their contribution is to the dysfunction. Most people don't lay awake at night wondering, what am I doing to contribute to this dysfunction? Most people lie awake at night watching videos, learning more about what potentially could be their partner's problem.
Again, just another lie. Again, I don't know what I was expecting, but this woman, she cannot get one right. Now, it's true that most people tend to blame the other partner. That is absolutely true. But men are the ones who take the guilt upon themselves. Why? Because they are expected to be problem solvers. Women are not expected to fix the problems, right? Men are the ones who are expected to provide, make the woman feel secure, fix the problems, right? It's expected of them. And I agree with that, because I think men are the ones who have a better understanding of how to fix the problems. And this is why you often see guys trying to fix the problem, taking accountability. You know, you can ask any married man, you can ask him how many times you know that you're right, but you just shut up about it because you want to fix the problem and you don't want to put the blame on the woman. Women just don't like to take the blame because they feel like you have to be the problem solver. They don't like you sitting there like you're talking to another man, telling them, but you did this. They don't like to hear that, right? Because they want you to solve the problem, you to take the accountability, and they to feel, you know, for them to feel just loved. That you, even though you are right, they want you to validate them, right? So again, men take accountability for the problems, and if you ask any man who is married, he'll tell you, yeah, a lot of the times I know that I'm right, or at least to, you know, a big percentage, you know, I'm more correct than her, but I just shut up about it because otherwise we're gonna spend the whole week discussing and having problems. So I just shut up about it and I validate her, so the problem is solved, right? Again, just everything that this woman says is wrong, man. Let's find out if in the next 2 minutes she'll say something that is correct.
And this is why I caution folks as they fantasize or think about moving on to other relationships, in that, like, if you haven't first fully understood what your contribution was to the first relationship not going well, there's a good chance that you are just going to re-enter that same dynamic in the next relationship. So it's in your best interest to always work through those relational pieces in the relationship that you're presently in and have a good understanding. That doesn't always mean the relationship works out. It just means, do you walk away from this having a full understanding of what your contribution was? And so that when you move into the next relationship, you move in with a different understanding of who you are and what skills you need to bring to the table for.
Yeah, notice the advice, guys. The advice is, right, the guy asks, why do women have no idea why they get divorced? And instead of answering that question, instead of accepting that in a lot of the cases women have no idea why they're divorcing, you are a divorce coach. You should know this, right? You should know that your female clients have no idea 80% of the time why they're getting a divorce. instead of answering that question, instead of putting some accountability on women, which they really deserve, notice the advice, guys. Men, you should do more. You know, men just they don't take accountability. You know, she meets the question, why do women not take accountability, and she replies with like a 5-year-old, but men don't take accountability either. And that's the whole advice. The whole advice is, men, you gotta do better. This is why a lot of men straight up don't want to go to divorce coaches, life coaches, dating coaches, marriage counsels, and whatever the hell not. Because in most of the cases, if you're a man, you'll just go there so they can put more weight on your shoulders. So they tell you have to do more, you have to do better, and most of the problems in the whole universe are because of you. So, yeah. Consider if you want to go to marriage counseling, guys.
Or who?
Just before we continue, I'm not against marriage counseling. I think that there are some people who can give you absolutely great advice. But first rule, they have to be married. Why are you taking marriage advice from a person who is not married? It just doesn't make no sense. It's like taking, I don't know, football lessons from a person who's never touched a ball, right? Who's never played football. So I think there are people who can genuinely help you in your marriage, who can give you some good advice, but you have to look at the person, you have to look at their experience, and you can't just take the word of any single divorced woman over 40, you know, with blonde hair to tell you some bullcrap, because, you know, she feels that she has an understanding even though she has trashed all the relationships in her life.
Ever comes across your path. Otherwise, it's just the same relational interaction with a different hair color, eye color, name, and history. And many people vow to never date somebody like their ex and try to even swing the exact opposite and date somebody so dissimilar from their ex. But the reality is you're still the same. If you have not done the work to understand what your contributions are in relationships, it doesn't matter if you date somebody entirely different. You're still the same. So my point is, do the work either now or later. Just choose. And take this for what you will. When I am with individual clients and they have gone through a recent divorce and they start dating, I often will ask them, when they start dating somebody who's also recently divorced, I ask them if they have a full understanding of what went wrong for them in the relationship. And if they cannot answer what their contribution was, and their answer is, my ex is crazy, or my ex is a narcissist, or whatever, then they have not done the work that's needed. So that's a red flag.
Yeah, guys, so bottom line of the story, do the work. Guys, come on, do the work. You have to do better, you have to do more. Even though your wife or ex-wife couldn't tell you one reason why she's getting divorced, it's on you. You just had to do the work more. You know, you just had to pay more attention, do more things, take more accountability, validate her more, and do all the right things. And we just never put accountability on women, right? We would just never do that. Now, I'm not going to be like this woman and put all the blame on the opposite gender, because I'm not stupid. And I know that men a lot of the times are to blame, right? In a relationship, you don't get this black and white situation. Yes, men have their, you know, bad aspects in relationships, same as women. But the reason why I'm talking about women is because, guys, they already take enough accountability. If you ask me, they take even more than they should. A lot of the times, men blame themselves more than they should. A lot of the times, men, you know, take the blame for things that they are not to blame. And men are taking already enough accountability. Women, on the other hand, they're taking close to zero in most of the cases, right? So what if we just put a little more blame on them, you know, take some accountability, damn it. But, you know, as you may have seen, guys, society doesn't subscribe to that idea. But talking about subscribing, guys, subscribe if you like my content and if you want to see more of it, and like the video if it entertained you. We're gonna leave it right here. Leave me your comments down below so I can check them, and I'm gonna see you next time, guys. Have a good one.